once again, we would want to thank Toby Afede for speaking up when Akufo Addo was maltreating us and misgoverning. The same to Yas Antoa and Domahine Osiadeyo Ajimabedu the second. Of course, not forgetting Garmanche King Teku through the second, the man leading the charges for us to recover the Sicily Adapa money. Of course, I've been in touch with Remonacha some months ago. Yeah. I hope, yes, very soon. We are looking for it. Not specifically on that matter, but once he hasn't come out to say that there is nothing, it means that something should be ongoing. Or
right.
It's a fair assumption.
At least we deserve an update.
Yes.
Anyway.
Is it the case that Martin has a special agenda and he takes interest to advocate same on this platform? Always, and I want to educate Martin to desist from this show of hatred towards individuals. I continue to advise him, but he doesn't take my advice. If you have issues about governance, principles, articulate them, but don't personalize a person.
It's because of bad deeds that everybody has a name. Please, that's your style.
Hate
call it
towards
hate.
That person all the time.
Call it hate.
It is not professional.
Please, Mr. Okanse, what we are dealing with today is that Sicily Adapa attempted to explain the source of the money twice and failed. Why do you call hate?
The host is greeting you. He expects you to greet back. But you don't bring people here when you don't give them opportunity to defend themselves.
Then don't even say anything today. Just go back home.
No.
Then don't say anything. Go back home.
We are going to discuss principles, concepts. We are not going to discuss personality. Particularly when they are not here.
Mr. Akuyakube, it's too late in the day. That's been my style. All these years. Then can you unwind and reverse everything I've said? That is my style.
So we deserve at least an update from Yoko on
as long as I live.
Matter for discussion today.
So okay.
Then we will continue to it.
Thank you very much.
But when you bring somebody on this platform, that person doesn't have the right of rebuttal.
Then don't say it. Don't even come here again.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for this. And this was just on the side issues. But then the other one, quick one. This one, standard of living in the last 12 months. What's your verdict
well,
on
from
this?
the statistics and reading from here, I see that the polling is suggesting that people are saying that their standard of living have improved tremendously, looking at the numbers. 57%, 56% is quite on the high. So generally, we could presume that, granted that the people polled have shown this commitment to the survey and responses, then it means that, well, ordinarily one would say that standard of living has improved. But I would say that standard of living will not only be dependent on cost of living, as my good friend was saying. It talks generally about even the environment. What are we seeing? Health, all that put together, then we'll say that our standards, infrastructure development, all that. But I think that my good friend is focusing more on cost of living, which in itself will not give us the necessary responses from the citizenry. So I would have thought that we would, widen the scope and look at generality of life. And in my personal view, we should be looking more at the opportunity cost, whether the prices are going down as against other variables like environment, depletion in the environment. Let's put all that in a basket. Then we'll see whether generally we have an improved standard of living or otherwise.
I see. Now, you rather we take it from that perspective.
Yes.
On that's Musa.
Prof has been talking about cost of living, and that's what I heard him to be talking about.
No, I mean, what we're trying to say is that people generally link cost of living improvement to their standard of living. I know there's a broader definition of living standards.
And from a technical standpoint, I would also bring in a lot more variables. And put them in scope, and then we'll see whether or not we are seeing improvement in those areas. And I'm particularly emphatic in areas of environmental decadence or otherwise.
Right.
And I'm saying that if we put that in context, probably our results will be different. That's what I'm saying. And again, even health facilities, infrastructure development. In the last 12 months, what have been the improvement in infrastructure stock? What have been improvement in our educational system and educational results? What has been improvement in our health facilities in terms of facilities and access and quality? If we put all that in the basket, then we could be talking about generally standard of living as Ghanaians.
I see.
And even access to justice, law, access to recreation, all of that will come into it. But my good friend is only focusing more on cost of living, which again, we are not even referring to inputs. What it is that we have seen as a reduction in cost? Maybe tomato, maybe onions, cassava, yams. Let's look at the ingredients. Then we can see whether the cost of yams going down, tomatoes going down or up. And if you aggregate them, then you see generally, even on the inputs, we are seeing cost of these inputs going down as reference to the year before.
I see. Oh, okay, but is it just about the cost of living?
Look, sometimes we tend to dwell on technical definition of stuff. For the voter, he's a very simplistic person on the street. And his simplicity is what drives his voting intentions. So we must keep things a bit simple for the man on the street.
Okay.
Because for him, yes, not everything has come down in prices. A lot of things have gone up. The local and other things that we buy. But they feel that the environment that they live in terms of the economy and everything they've gone through, they are saying to us that compared to the last 12 months, their standard of living has improved.
I see. Well, I'll come to you on this, but let me also apologize once again for the late start of the stream on Facebook and on X. We're on now. We're live on Facebook and on X, on YouTube as well. So you can connect. That is if those of you who, especially on the Voice of London Radio, Kpebu, standard of living over the last 12 months. You have what the president said. Does it reflect what your state of affairs is and what is captured in here? Quickly.
Yeah, so yes, the president is talked, number one, about the resilience of the Ghanaian. And resilience is very, very important because, you know, if we don't continue to, you know, live with hope, we don't continue to rise above our challenges, then there will be no tomorrow at all. So is the single most important or about the single most important factor when you are analyzing the chances of a nation or a society making progress. Once there is resilience, then you know that, yes, there is tomorrow. But the moment a citizen is knocked down, he doesn't desire to rise, to look for a new job, to seek help elsewhere, etc., then you know that there is trouble. So for me, one thing we'll find is that it's always been the case that we can't have everybody at this time in our national life being satisfied with our economic progress. It doesn't look like it. The reason is easy to, you know, make such a statement is that you look at even the advanced countries where they have food pantries, so where you can go, if you are hungry, go into a food pantry and ask for food, etc. Even in those places, there are still people who are hungry. That's the problem. There are still people who are hungry. Recently, I watched in the UK, they are trying to ramp up the number of food pantries, okay, calling some the Breakfast Club. Look at the very sexy name they've given it, the Breakfast Club. So that, yeah, a sexy name, breakfast club for people who cannot. Yes, it's good. You see, you're laughing. Oh, it's good. We can't always be. You know, for people who cannot afford food, etc. So the point I'm.
Been like that all through. From Lagos, he hasn't changed.
Yeah, so that's my DNA.
Bringing out exotic words all the time.
A leopard doesn't change its spots.
Indeed.
So looking at those ahead of us, the fact that they are also still grappling with the cost of living crisis is serious. It's serious in the UK, US, etc. So it's just the same here, but at least our people are showing that we've improved significantly from 2024. You look at inflation, one of the greatest indications. The last, that's November's own, was at 6.3%.
Yes.
So showing that the rate of increase, and let's be clear, that's the rate of increase between this year's November and last year's November, not October.
True.
Last year's November has been what? A 6.3% increase. But if you check between last year's November and 2023 November, it's higher. Yes, we can prove if your data, we know it offhand that it was higher, etc. So generally, and so, you know, when we talk about inflation, you know, people will say, now, if the inflation we go chop. You see, Ghanaians have always said that, look, they don't want just numbers. I remember this from over 20 years ago. Yes, that Ghanaians say it's not inflation they will chop. But let's explain a bit more. So from the inflation figures, we're seeing that the rate of increase has come down, meaning that if it hadn't come down, and let's say if a bowl of rice, just for an example, was 50 Ghana, right, then it means that's, let's say, last November, since we don't have December's data yet. So if last November a bowl of rice was 50 Ghana, right, and this year we're saying that the rate of inflation for November is 6.3. So meaning that, just as an example, the rate would have increased by 6.3, okay, compared to between last November and the November of 2023, which was a bigger figure, was a far bigger figure, right? So what we're saying that it could have been worse in simple terms, meaning that it could have been worse. So the fact that it's not worse, you remember this, let me pass this through. Somebody said if GM had been in charge, the CD will go to 17 Ghana, or is it some ridiculous figure? But at least today, as we speak, the CD to the dollar is between 10 and 11, right? $1 for between 10 and 11 Ghana cedis. Somebody said if GM was in charge, it would have gone to 17. At least for 1 year, we've not seen 17. The people who said 17, they couldn't do better, right? So considering that it's not been as bad as it was projected, because remember that even Fitch, right? Fitch and other rating agencies had put inflation at beyond 10%. Even as a country, the IMF and the other indicators, I think at a point they said 15, then later it came down to about 8%, right? And then further, you see that, so we've beaten the projections. That's all I'm saying. True. From 15 plus or minus 15%. Later they downgraded and said, okay, we could end the year with plus or minus 8%. And now it's even lower. We've ended up doing for November 6.3. And from all indications, it's likely December may be lower. So the thing is that in one way, it could have been worse. But since we've done it this way, we will not pat ourselves on the back. Ato Forson and Bank of Ghana and all the people. No time for celebrations yet, because it's the sustainability that is key. If we can keep this going for another 2-3 years, then we can pat ourselves in the back.
It's the sustainability. 1 year goodwill for the president.
Yes.
Beyond this 1 year, what will determine the sustainability of the said goodwill that has been experiencing or enjoying over the last 1 year?
So number one, we'll continue with the resilience that we should continue to fight to make our lot better. Okay. Yes, we continue to fight, continue to look for jobs. If you are doing 1 acre in terms of farming, see if it's possible to make it 2 acres, right? If you're doing 1 part-time job, see if it's possible to find another part-time job. And then, of course, hopefully 2026 will be better, because this year they will roll out the Nkukon Kitinkiti program. So young people, Look, I'm very enthusiastic about agriculture, right? I told you that we are doing piggery and fishing, right? So the young people, they graduate. Look, when we're going to school, like sometimes we should say our story so that young people will not feel that they don't deserve to go into agriculture. Going to law school, look, we used to clean. I'll say cleaner. We used to go to the US. You would clean, sweep streets, okay? Wash dishes, etc. That's how we paid our school fees. So today, if you are asked to clean or you're asked to do agriculture, don't see agric as demeaning. I'm not the only one. Look, you check my classmates a lot. That was those days you hear international anyway. We did menial jobs, washing dishes, cleaning the streets of America, right? Driving, security, you name them, very menial jobs. That's how we got to where we are. So please.
Interesting. So the economy will be one in determining whether this goodwill will be sustained. You talk about the fight against corruption as well. A lot has been said about expectations of oral and how things are playing out right now. What will be your verdict of oral?
Oral is going to do far better. All right, it's going to
do the next one.
Yes, because there are going to be more cases. Dr. Ayene, I call him Professor Ayene, he's coming up, sending more cases to court, right? Last killer, Raymond Nacha, is also having more cases presented to the AG. And so this year you see more cases making it to court. And so the fight will be ramped up, ratcheted up, and so there will be no space for the corrupt ones who want to loot our public purse. And of course, the icing on the cake, we are begging President Mahama, we have to pass the asset declaration law that will enable publication of assets that are declared. The IMF has told President Mahama that he should make sure that the new law will have publication of assets.
There's an update on that. If you look at the fifth review, they say that that bit of the publication cabinet has taken it out. And then given it, they said the constitutional review will deal with
it. And they couldn't deal with it. So that's why I said we are begging President Mahama. This one, that should be his real legacy. The legacy of legacies. Yes, we know Nkukon Kitinkite will come, the other things. But pass an asset declaration law that will make sure that when you declare your assets, you give to the Auditor General, there will be a publication online. So that a cousin of mine, let's say Boku, can sit down and Google and find out that, but Musa Dankwa, you say you have 10 houses, but in Boku alone, we see you have 20 houses. You see, when you publish it, it's going to even obviate the need for verification in many instances, because when you publish, it's going to be transparency. So all the citizens who are conscious enough will become the watchmen. But if you make Auditor General alone the watchman, that he alone should open the envelope and then send his officers to go and verify, not useful. Between verification and publication, any day, publication beats verification over 100 times. Because when the thing is online, as I said, the cousin of mine will sit in Boku and Google and find out that Musa Dankwa has 20 houses in Boku, yet he has declared only 10. Why is Musa Dankwa hiding 10 other houses? Are they the proceeds of some kwakwa, or what is it? Then you see, but you ask one Auditor General and his officers, go and verify secretly. We will not take that. So, President Mahama, we beg you, it must be a new code of conduct with publication at the center. Very good. Just last point. Look, I've brought once again the asset declaration forms. PV or being
you have his asset
Mary Grant, Kojo Kyeremanteng, Jerry John Rawlings, Jonas Mawuse Kweku Doche, Obediah Asamoah, Kwabena Agyarko, Emmanuel Haywood, Edudzi, Edward Andrew Kwesi, that's Kwesi. These are their asset declaration forms from the 90s. Published. You go to Assembly Press next to Accra Poly, or now you say Accra Technical University. So we are not joking with this. So JM, this one you have to deliver it. This we'll call the legacy of legacies. Can you imagine, Mr. Okansi? Even Cape Verde, Central African Republic, Liberia, South Africa, they are ahead of us. How? Kwame Nkrumah's Ghana.
So that's the verdict for you. Asset declaration be made public. Publication of the said assets. That's what, in your view, would sustain the goodwill for you for the next 1 year.
Indeed.
Corruption, state of the economy,
one
as you
area
mentioned.
that I support him.
Okay.
Because I think that for me it helped. Because I published my assets when I entered public office. And indeed, I am ever ready for anybody to challenge me if there has been, unfortunately for me, and I won't say this with interest, I haven't added anything. So for me, it works for me. What I declared in 2000 is the same what I declared in 2017 is the same, except that you see some painting to the property. Fine, because I have painted even last month.
I see.
So the improvement you see is the paint that I have applied. But tentatively for the properties, they are the same. So I don't see why public officers are disinterested in publication. I will publish mine any day, any time. And indeed, when you add justifiably, you can also declare at any point in time.
Okay.
So I don't see any fetish about hiding your property coming into public office. It has worked for me. So I recommend that people agree to publish it so that the suspicion goes away.
Okay. Well, the goodwill has been enjoyed, at least within the 1 year period. We've seen this reflect in many ways. Godwin Edudzi is the CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, and also a private legal practitioner in good standing. Council, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Good morning.
And a happy new year to you as well.
Our cherished viewers who had kept faith with us over the years.
Indeed.
Good morning to my neighbor, who I hardly see. Good morning to my two learned seniors, who today I'm blessed to join. You know,
Whom you hardly see also.
Yes. And let me put on record that I have paid for my license, so I have my license. Who challenged you on that? No, he said the lawyer in good standing.
Yes.
So to prove, I have duly paid for my license to practice. So I'm sure, you know, in those days, the GBA used to publish lawyers in good standing in the Daily Graphic.
True.
You know, even though it's an association, the publication tends to create an impression that if you are not in that newspaper publication,
then
you are not a lawyer. You know, so
No, you are a lawyer, but not in good standing.
no,
but
for the
some just say,
association, you can be a lawyer practicing by outside, you know, GBA.
True.
You know, but we want to thank God for what He has done for this country over the past 1 year. It is not in doubt that we took over a very difficult economy. President John Dramani Mahama, in taking the oath of office on the 7th of January 2025, it was clear that things were going to be very bad. And I recall vividly, just 2 days after the inauguration, there was doomsday. You remember?
Yes.
And our friends in the other side immediately turned a gun on us and said, oh, we told you so. These people, they are bringing back doomsday. You remember?
Yes.
But through President Mahama's leadership, together with my sector minister, the Honorable John Abdullahi Agyapong, today, nobody, we hardly even talk about light-ups. That's leadership.
Yes.
Economy. I mean, it was almost, I mean, I still remember my own brother, Miracle Abuaji and co were clear that giving power to President Mahama means that the city was going to get to 25.
Not 17.
No, in fact, he was very clear, 1 to 25. Today, with the support of the Almighty God,
Amen.
the Ghana city officially trades at 10.5. I have seen an analysis made by my neighbor, the respected Musa Dankwa, where he makes the point that the Honorable Finance Minister has just announced that we have paid about $700 million as part of our Eurobond, commitment.
Yes.
ahead of time.
Yes.
And he makes a very interesting analysis. He said, look, if Minister Ato Forson was going to pay that Eurobond, $700 million at 15 Ghana cedis, it was going to cost the Ghanaian taxpayer, okay, 11.5 billion Ghana cedis. But because today the exchange rate is doing 10.5, it is costing taxpayers a little over 7.5 billion. So what it means that by simply the reason of the exchange rates, you know, being stable.
In fact, our debts go up without we borrowing when the cedi depreciates.
The truth of the matter is that Musa Dankwa puts it in better perspective. He says that, look, simply because the cedi is doing 10.5, what would have cost the taxpayer $11 billion, we now did it at 7.5 billion. What it means is that there had been a savings of almost 3 billion. That 3 billion savings can do free SHS. That 3 billion can do free SHS. That 3 billion can do LEAP. That 3 billion can do no fee stress. That 3 billion can pay road contractors. That 3 billion, that savings alone, simply by just stabilizing the Ghana cedi, can do huge things for the Ghanaian economy. So what it simply tells you as a group of people, that putting competent people, and I repeat, competent, persons with quiet strengths, not noisemakers, at the helm of affairs, is all you need. My senior brother here, and I respect him a great deal. Look, in all political parties, you need a few of the Andiapiakubis.
What do you mean?
You may not like them, but they often come across as gadflies. In Athenian society, the lives of Socrates and co were considered as gadflies. The horse needs constant what? Stink.
Opposition.
You need somebody who will just give you and shake your body small. It's uncomfortable, but it helps. I recall when the lives of Andy Apiakubi and co with the 94 MPs went to President Nana Akufo Addo and said, look, yes, it's true. We have seen the NDC put up a vote of censure. We will not join them because that's NDC politics. But among ourselves, we believe that the time has come that President Akufo Addo, you must let go of family. And let me say that the reason why we had the worst form of economic performance under Akufo Addo is simply because of familiarity. Akufo Addo could simply not call Ken Ofori Atta to order.
Okay.
And you need that. So when the likes of Andy, the 94 MPs, the rebellious 94, took up the fight. I'm making this point. Took up the fight. Oh, very rebellious. Nana was not happy and you knew it. You see? But at the end of the day, they saw ahead of time.
When my nephews think that I'm rebellious.
You know,
that's where the problem is.
They saw ahead of time that there was going to be a disaster. Let me tell you something. Look, by 2021, it became obvious that the economy was going to crash. But Ken quickly then put up a model and said, look, instead of going to an IMF program, right, I will bring e-levy. So if you recall, November 19th budget, 2021, saw the introduction of e-levy. By which time, we should have been going to the IMF. But as ordained,
well, we're exiting the program.
No, I'm just saying, no,
while you round
everything, the refusal. It took the governor of Bank of Ghana to tell the president that, Mr. President, the economy is at the verge of collapse. And that is why on Friday, 1st July 2022, Nana Addo had no other option than to call the IMF boss and say, look, I have come on my knees with my crown in hand. Please come and intervene. And so if you recall, we went to the IMF at the point where we were in intensive care unit. And that is why if you look at the IMF prescriptions and conditionalities, they were the toughest we have seen. Today, our friends in the NPP complain about quarterly tariff adjustment. What they have forgotten is that they signed that commitment to the IMF. Regrettably, because at the time they went to the IMF, they didn't go when the conditions were favorable. They went when everything was down.
I see.
Look, even Agyapong, the Agyamponic era, we never declared DDEP. Agyapong never did. But President Nana Addo Akufo Addo with his Fastianomame, what's the name?
Bawumia.
Okay. But
you know, the head of economic management. And let me conclude on this. Have you seen President Mahama openly announce economic management team?
well, in the next 1 year, what would it take? No,
have you seen it?
No. What would it take?
But what is the state of the economy?
The economy.
I can't say
The economy is one of the elements identified as one that would sustain or otherwise the president's goodwill for the next 1 year. It's been 1 year of goodwill, not honeymoon.
We'll come to the...
But then, beyond that, what next? That's where we are now.
You see,
quickly.
Many years ago, before the like months before the campaign, the election, I went to one of the banks, and a man came into the banking hall and pulled me out. He said, Edudzi, we see the work you guys are doing. You have our support for 2024. The economy is in bad shape, so we are not expecting much with President Mahama becoming president. What we just want to see is to see accountability. And that is what, if you recall, resulted in Operation Recover All Loots. Because then we realized that we risked a 1979 scenario where the people then used to shout, let the blood flow. We couldn't have blood flowing, but people wanted to see a certain level of accountability. And that is what culminated in that campaign promise. Let me say this. It's been over a year now. All the things that have been uncovered, for a moment, if Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia had won, do you think those things would have come out?
Oh, you think they wouldn't?
How were they? No. How were they? How were they? So the change itself was good. It was therapeutic.
Yeah.
In fact, NPP members are today enjoying the change.
You say NPP members are enjoying the change. How do you know that?
We talk to them quietly.
And they've been telling you that they enjoy the change.
Look, they tell you, oh, Edudzi, dollar now my energy, no credit the papa. They'll tell you in quiet. Just that they come out to, you know, and it's normal politics, it's understandable. If you come and you are always singing the praise of President Mahama, who will even consider you in future or something for anything? And so, deliberately, you can see the benefit to our people. Okay. Let me conclude on this. Alfred, if you go to the pumps today, right, and I have with me a publication on my Joy Online, Joy Business, 4th December 2024. Check the date, 4th December 2024. Joy Business. And you can Google. Anybody watching us can easily Google. Petrol to sell at 15.30 per liter. Ghana cedis. Diesel to sell 15.80 Ghana cedi per litre. 4th December 2024. 19th December 2025, barely a year after, the same product is selling between 12 and 11. What it tells, even with the 1 Ghana cedi levy, what it tells you is that significantly, there's a cedi savings of almost 3 cedis on every litre. You can't call this AI generated.
Okay.
With all due respect to my senior brother, Brian Achampong, this is not AI generated.
Okay.
This is data. Data that is contestable. The numbers, and like I've given you the same joy business. And so I just want to say that, look, in the words of one famous economist, he said, when in doubt, observe the exchange rates. A very famous economist.
All right, thank you. So you are
Sinandi, why are you laughing?
all right.
Sinandi is heckling me. He's heckling me.
And when your fundamentals are weak, the exchange rate will expose you.
So the goodwill 1 year,
2 statements.
economy yes, fight against corruption. That's what
Infrastructure
both, and
infrastructure. Look, let me say this, and I'll conclude
quickly.
on this.
No,
If you go, yes,
I'll
conclude. If you go online now, there's a story attributed to the Roads Minister, the respected Honorable Kwame Agbodza governors. He says, look, we have done and we are in the process of awarding over $5 billion worth of road contract. No borrowing.
Very good.
See.
That's significant.
Okay, let me take out from my good.
Do you know that the expressway will pass through his
You made your point.
constituency?
Oh,
Thank you.
Pass. Why not?
It will pass through his
Yes.
Right. Okay. Maybe 2 corrections to make. Indeed, we did not say that e-levy was entirely bad as a policy. What we were saying was that the implementation was flawed, and indeed the rate was also contestable.
Yes.
Because we had agreed as Parliament to put the rate at 1%.
Okay.
And indeed, we had a unanimity in the agreement. That was in Ho when Parliament met. But it took the recalcitrancy of just the minister then not to listen to all of us. That is how come we started from some 3% that faced some challenges. So it was not a bad policy after all, but it was the implementational difficulties that made it bad. And we couldn't also achieve the targets as expected. So e-levy policy, tax itself is not a bad thing, but the management of the tax arrangement and also the management of the resources that come out of the taxation is what is sometimes problematic. So yes, I agree with my brother if the rate is stabilized for a long time, we must acknowledge that as a contribution of the economy to the general calculations. I agree to that, and I acknowledge that, and I expect it to continue like that.
Okay.
And if we are able to maintain that, so good for all of us, why not? But I'm saying that let us not look at only one angle of it and see how it impacts on the other sectors of the economy. And I'm very worried about the impact that this makes on the environment. If we can improve it, I'm not saying mining is bad.
You're talking about galamsey?
Yes, but responsive mining or responsible mining is probably what we need to address to cushion us of the economic difficulties. So let's improve generally in the economy, looking at also the environment, looking at education and all that. But we can do that sustainably if we are careful, but not careless. So I will not support any program that brings other difficulties in other areas. But let's manage the total economy and ensure that we are getting quality and value for money rather than value from here and degradation on the other side. So generally put all of it in context we say that it is not bad.
No, but
in fact, the economy.
is that position not contestable? I've always maintained. The impression. Hold on. The impression has been created that the impression has been created that the economy has grown at the expense of the environment. Is that really
we have
the
a culture?
point?
We have a culture here, my good friend. And the culture is that when somebody is speaking,
I'll come to you. So you conclude on the point that you were making. Hold on.
The heckling is permissible.
Yes.
The heckling is not permissible here. So what I'm saying is that, yes, when you see a good thing, support it. I will not challenge if the figures are right. But let me see sustainability in it. And if I have any contribution to make it work better for all of us, why not? Me, I'm not particularly interested in who is doing it. I'm particularly interested in who are enjoying it. And if all of us are enjoying from whoever, I think it will be better. So I'm not challenging the figures as they come, because I know also that the dollar rate is low now. Yeah, that's a fact. I can't sit here and say that the dollar is, the cedi is depreciating beyond. No. It is appreciating, and however it is being done, let's see whether we can improve the system to sustain it. For me, that is my argument. And it doesn't matter if it is NDC doing it and it's doing it for all of us, fine. Probably when we come to inherit a better situation, we will also build on it. But I also agree with him that in our appointment, in fact, most of these things happen because of our flawed appointment systems. When, in the last week when I was here, I told you that in one of the meetings that I participated, some people came to get me out and talk to me that I should intervene because somebody who was supposed to do the bidding for Ghana was failing us. And I said, why? Why should this person be there if he didn't understand what was happening? So I agree with him that when we are going through appointment systems, let's make sure we bring our best foot forward so that all of us will enjoy the benefits. Other than that, if nepotism takes the better part of us and we put wrong people there, that's where we experience come and save him, that kind of scenario.
You say come and save him, what
well, it doesn't work for us. And then, because when you talk about this person not being competent, we will invoke all invectives, negative ones against you. But at the end of the day, it is the end that justifies what we are saying. Well, I'm not saying that the economy was on one person. But in our very case that I know, and when I gave you the scenario, when the whole of Parliament agreed that let's manage 1% of this tax arrangement and manage it well, one person said, no, I won't agree. And that I won't agree superseded the consensus as built. You see, and that was not good enough for the general economy. And this is why we saw the failure in the implementation of that tax
That's the
portfolio.
E-levy.
The E-levy. So if we had agreed and all of us had marketed, probably the results would have been different. But because one person said, no, I will agree, and I remember Honorable Haruna Idrisu, then
who is this one person who said he's not
then majority leader. We were in Freedom Hotel or something, whole hotel, and he said that we on the minority side, we agree to the 1% as being proposed by the majority. But one person said, no, I wouldn't agree to that, and I want 3%.
Who?
And I didn't have that mandate to speak for the government at the time.
Sure.
But both of us in Parliament had agreed on this thing. If we had probably implemented that, we would have gotten better results. And that, so
that one person's voice was that strong enough to topple all the others?
It gives us the lesson that going forward, let's consult and let's listen to all opinions. Because in that mandate, you are operating for Ghana, not for yourself, or not for one political party, or not for the government alone. You are operating for the whole country. So listen to other people's opinion and let's work for the betterment of Ghana. So I agree. If it will take even the devil to come and make Ghana good, I will support any initiative that makes us good or makes us look good and brings us more competitiveness even on the international platform.
You say even if it will take the devil?
Yes.
to get us
out of economic doldrums. I will support the devil to do that.
Kofi Bento is private legal practitioner. He's a vice president of Imani Africa.
So what I'm saying is that I don't care who does it.
Yes, I get the point.
I'm worried about who will not do it right.
Okay.
And who will do right, I will support.
Even if it is the devil. Thank you.
Even if it takes the devil.
Thank you.
Kofi, you are welcome.
Good morning. Welcome.
I thought
Thank you for joining us.
30 seconds.
I'll come to you. I have to welcome.
So that you
Happy New Year. Wait.
A very important point my senior has made this morning.
Thank you.
Gendarme does not stay. We have to kill the gendarme.
Thank you, and a happy New Year to you. We wish the best for this year, for the station, for yourself.
Thank you.
For everyone in Ghana.
Indeed. And welcome.
1
year on, you still think that the president is enjoying some goodwill. What will that take, in terms of, let's do this. We've seen what Musa Dankwa is reflected, the job approval, standard of living. How do you see the next 1 year playing out?
The next 1 year?
They've identified corruption, the economy, galamsey.
So, you see, when it comes to these stats, job approval, etc., I think a better way to appreciate this is to appreciate it in perspective, all right? Because we tend to forget very quickly, especially in Ghana, but generally, and history is a very good guide. Now, if you watch the Third Republic, every president, apart from maybe President Mills, has enjoyed intense honeymoon in their first year. All right? So this sentiment is very normal. Look, let me just refresh your memory. President Kufuor came after President Rawlings. And all the people here were alive. When we were trying to transit into a democracy, nobody believed that President Rawlings would give up power. From when the constitution was done to the transitional provisions, everybody thought, no, this man will never give up power. We had an election, he won, we just left it alone. Finally, President Kufuor won. Every day, people thought President Rawlings would come back and take power one way or the other. The whole first year of President Kufuor, we wake up and we're wondering, is this government still there? And there was this euphoria. And in that instance, it was actually mixed with some fear. So we're very happy when after 1 year, of President Kufuor, this country was still stable. And I remember, it was euphoric. It went into the next year, all right? After that, we expected, in fact, some NPP people said NDC will stay in opposition for 30 years. The next person we expected was President Addo to take over from him. And he lost on a runoff. And President Mills came in. So note, President Mills came in after losing first round and winning second round. He wasn't really expected to. So it was very, gingerly. But a lot of sympathy inured to the benefit of Donado. And after 3 rounds, Donado became president. People wept during Donado's inauguration. We forgot these things. It was intense emotion. In the first year of Donado, it was the same thing. In fact, more. People were happy, went into the next. In fact, the first 4 years, even after the 4 years of Donado, when things didn't look like they were going well, Donado got the second term. Because people were really euphoric. He managed to mess up so bad that around the 8 years, everybody wanted him out. And then President Mahama, who had had the bad run in the previous times, comes in riding on the disaffection against President Donado.
Except he's better. His record shows he's better.
Let me do my work. Let me do my work. Okay. 1, riding on the disaffection against President Donado. 2, people also felt like he has suffered all the things that he suffered. And you had the worst economic performance in the history of this country, where people actually lost their money after the president promised them that they won't lose any money. The sentiments were intensely against them. To that extent, therefore, this government, even if they did nothing, all right, the change was therapeutic. I remember speaking to some investors, once in a while, these people come around and they call us and we talk to them.
Yeah.
And I told them that, look, even though I would have preferred a different outcome, President Mahama winning was therapeutic and necessary for Ghana.
was therapeutic.
It was therapeutic and necessary for
We're
Ghana.
using the same expressions as Edudzi at some point. Yes.
Because that's true. People just wanted to break with this thing. All right? So for me, I'm happy with it. And we came from such a low that even stabilizing this economy and not doing much was going to be sufficient. Then I realized I'm an analyst, we watch these things.
Absolutely.
Good presidents tend to be lucky.
Good presidents
Good tend to be lucky.
What do you mean?
What I mean is that there's a saying that, fortune favors the brave and the universe conspires to the aid of they that are seeking the good things in life. The whole universe, let me explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. People are saying the city has appreciated, which is true. All right? But what they are not saying is that the dollar has depreciated across the world. All right? I work in a place where we are analyzing the economics. People are giving a lot of, kudos to Gold Board. Gold Board has done something. But the effect of Gold Board on the city today is less than 10%. Watch the numbers. The dollar has depreciated. There's so many different things playing out. But the point I'm making is that good presidents tend to be lucky. All right? The whole of this year, this government has almost not spent. The first 6 months, they didn't spend anything. Even up to now, there are, intentions to spend and that kind of thing, but not much expenditure has happened. And we've gone 1 year already. Okay? When you work the economics of it, everything is working towards what we are saying today. And it is good. And I commend President Mahama for it. Indeed, we are a better off country. Before the election, I wrote a piece. And in the piece, I said that, look, we are lucky as Ghanaians to have President Mahama and Vice President Bawumia as the people to choose from, because both of them are very fine gentlemen. And that's what we've seen. President Mahama is the best best dove amongst the hawks in his government. What I mean is, there are people in the government, including nice people like Edudzi, who would want some wilder reactions, okay, given the change of government. And President Mahama is stamping them all down. The point I'm making is that we are lucky as a country to have that man. So look, everybody knows where I stand. But like my senior here said, when you see good things, commend them.
Yes.
And whatever we did to get these things, let's continue to do those things. What is leading to this outcome, and I'm speaking to the young people who talk by heart, is that we have sustained a democracy which allows us to change governments, and we don't have a despot holding a gun telling us what to do. And that is what we must maintain, no matter how bad it gets. We ought to be able to get up as a people, go to a polling station. If even you are like me and you didn't like this particular outcome, live with it, because this is the best that the world, human beings, have devised for themselves. So, given what we are seeing here, I am not surprised, but I have given you a historical perspective that, look, it is not strange. Okay? The task or the challenge is what happens in the next 3 years. I hear them talk about $5 billion worth of infrastructure. If they are able to invest $5 billion in infrastructure
without borrowing,
I'm coming there. If they're able to do that without borrowing and complete what they want to do, I will stand here, commend them, okay, and clap for them.
You vote for them.
Oh, listen.
Bring the ice.
But the commendations
Listen. You see, today, the only person, okay, that I will vote for above President Mahama is President Bawumia. If Bawumia were not there, I'll vote for Mahama. Okay? But Mahama is not coming back. Who are you bringing?
Okay.
It comes to that.
That question of who are you bringing leads us to the next issue. This, you wanted to do a quick
there are some
rebuttal.
two issues that came up.
Yes, quickly.
I think that we have grown and made the economy better, not at the expense of the environment.
Oh.
And I say this because, you see, the attempt has been made to water down the impact of the economic growth. And there had been this other conversation. Look, if you look at the phenomenal work done by Gold Board, let me say this. In a year, if you have a situation where, through the instrumentality of one agency, right, you can have about $10 billion worth of forest repatriation. That is phenomenal. look, what Gold Board has done, that is what we use Eurobond to do in 6 years.
It's not true.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you why it is true. The data. By first year of President Akufo Addo, with Dr. Mahamadu Bawumia as the chair of the economic management team, we had done 2.25 Franklin Templeton bond in the first year.
Because they met a mess.
Calm down, calm down. We have not done so, even though we have met a mess. That's the point I'm making. So you brought yourself.
No.
Okay.
Because so
you are
I was speaking.
no.
He came in. Let me put it in perspective. Listen. At the time that that was on the floor you came in. Okay, finish your point.
I also want to rebut the dollar decline.
Finish your point.
I also have that economic
let me just
You're all taking us out of context.
Okay.
So the point I am making is that you have a situation where through the instrumentality of Gold Board, the 6 years Eurobond of $11 billion, right? You've gotten that same $10 billion forest repatriation in a year.
Yes.
No external commitment on the Republic. The Eurobond brought external commitment to the Republic. Not only external commitment, it became debilitating to the point that we needed to go for a DDEP, which eventually resulted in elderly people for the first time in our political history going on demonstrations. Those are records you can never take away from what President Mahama's team of economists have done in stabilizing.
Right.
The question is, have that been done against the backdrop of the environment? Certainly, we've been able to provide a clear balance. And that, for me, is the record.
Thank you. That's what you wanted to say. The quick one. He concluded on a point, which was to respond to an issue that Kofi Bento raised.
We are commending the government, okay? You people keep talking about Gold Board.
Okay.
Yes. Look, watch what has happened with Gold Board. It was PMMC. The difference between the performance of PMMC and Gold Board is very little. That is one. This government came and met 30 tons of gold in office. Okay, and in 1 year, they added just about 1 ton. Now, you've sold $10 billion worth of gold and pumped the money into the economy and added just 1 ton. The people who saved the 30 tons, they could have sold it and pumped the money into the economy. All right? So, look, let's have perspective that it's not everything that you've done which is the best that could have been done. And it does not necessarily cast a negative shadow on the previous government because they saved 30 tons of gold. And they could have chosen to sell it and pump it into the market.
Let me also come in. 30 tons. We printed money to buy the 30 tons and it created problems. And the IMF stopped us. The IMF stopped us.
The value of 30 tons is far more than the
disclosure. How much the IMF had to stop us because we created inflation. We printed money to buy it.
And how much was the value of the 30 tons?
How you presented as if it was
I'll come to you on it.
Okay.
So you hold
Let me learn. When these arguments are made without figures, it throws dust in the eyes of people. What is the value of 30 tons of gold? Okay, and how much was printed? We have all condemned the economic mess. Okay, so let him speak to those things. Because you did 10 billion. How much is that in gold? The simple point I'm making is this.
Thanks for watching. Like and share the video. You can also drop your comment. Please don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell to turn on the notification.